Before I get into this video, I just want to let you know that we have a Discord server now. So there's a link for that in the description below. Go check it out if you want to hang out with other, nostalgic people. The other people in the Nostalgic Gamers Club. What's up, everybody? This is a little bit of a different video than I normally upload, but I did one of these before, and I just had something that I kind of wanted to chat about. So, if you feel like hanging out and watching some Ocarina of Time Randomizer and just chatting, welcome. Let's hang. So in this video, I specifically wanted to talk to the creatives out there, specifically the creatives who want to do some business-related things as well. That's me on the nose. I have a tendency to always want to start a new business or try something. Whoa, these chests are huge. But I'm sorry, this really is just... This is wild. But I always have a tendency to want to start a new business or, try something different or, there's always something that's going on in my brain. And I've noticed with myself and with, okay. Can't really use those, but that's great. There's something that I've noticed with myself and with other creatives, which is when we get into this sort of business mindset, we often want to utilize our creativity for those business purposes, which I think makes sense. But I think that sometimes it can get too easy to want to monetize your creativity. And I think that can be a very dangerous thing and can often lead to more heartache and despair than profit. So for me, the big thing that I wanted to do was video editing and filmmaking. That's kind of what I've always done. I've been a big production guy my whole life. And do I have enough for this? No, not yet. But I've been doing production for my entire career, and even before I had a career, I would just do dumb sketch comedies or short films with my buddies, and it was a blast. It was great. But I noticed that as I got older, that turned from I'm doing this for fun to how can I make money with this? And in some ways, that's been great. I was able to make a career out of doing the thing that I love, which was making videos and editing and all that jazz. So. On that front, that's not bad. That's pretty cool. But as I got a little bit older and as I started to try to make my own money and not, work for someone else, quote unquote, find freedom. Why can't I go in the hole? As I started to kind of, again, big air quotes, find freedom from my 9 to 5, I kind of realized something. I realized that in my attempt to find freedom from my 9 to 5, I had lost a lot of creative freedoms. And that was not cool. I did not love that. I stopped doing a lot of the things that brought me joy. I stopped hanging out with friends. I stopped building new relationships. And a lot of my relationships that I did have were so focused around, hey, what can we do together with business? And I'll be honest, guys, I kind of drank the Kool-Aid of these prosperity YouTubers being start your business, do drop shipping, do this, do that. You'll be, $50,000 a month within your first 2 months. And that's a really enticing promise, especially when you're trying to get out of corporate America. And I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being in corporate America or working a 9 to 5. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I, for so long, wanted to have my own business so bad that I was just foregoing everything else. I stopped making YouTube videos. I stopped making music. I stopped learning, new photography and videography techniques, and I just focused on business. And that just felt really crappy. And especially when those business ventures didn't really take off. I would book some freelance work here and there, and that was great. But I was like, man, I'm spending all this time working on this, and it's not really going anywhere. And I started to think about, why do I want out of the 9 to 5? And I think for me, the big reason was just that I frankly didn't want to make money for someone else. I wanted to make, the money that I made to make a living, I wanted it to be just money that I made for myself. And that's kind of a silly block. What is going on here? And that's kind of a silly way to look at it, in my opinion, especially looking back now. And what made me realize that is that I got on a phone call with my buddy, and I told him that. And I said, I'm tired of making money for other people. I want to make money for myself, yada, yada, yada. And I told him about my idea, for my business and how I wanted to book all these video clients. And, oh, man, I got ice trapped. I'm a fool. But, I wanted to make all these videos for my business clients, and I had a few clients under my belt that like wanted to work with me, and that was really exciting for me. And I have done some videos, for these clients in the past, and it all worked out. Also, if it looks like it's my first freaking time playing this game, it's because the controls in the emulator that I'm using are they're a little wacky. Could I have taken time to calibrate them more? Sure. Did I? Nah. But anyway, I got on this phone call with my buddy, and I told him, I said, I don't want to be making money for someone else. I want to be making money for myself. And he pointed out to me, he's like, dude, if you start your business the way you're talking about starting your business, you're literally just buying yourself a job. You're buying yourself a different job. And I was like, damn, like that is it's extraordinarily true. And after talking to him, I just kind of realized that that's not what I want. And I don't think it's bad if you do want to start a business and you do want to serve those types of business clients, but it's just not what I wanted. And don't get me wrong, I still love business, and I still will probably book some video clients. I'm not saying that I'm never going to do that type of freelance work again. All I'm getting at is that it doesn't have to be as big as I once thought it did. And the reason that I don't want to do that as much is because I realize now how much more valuable my creative freedom is. Even being able to do just chatting type videos like this, it exercises this sort of creative piece of me that just doesn't get exercised when I'm working on, a video for whatever, like a local law firm or something. And frankly, this decision is also giving me more time to spend with my friends and my family. And I don't mean to be grim about this by any means, but we don't know how much time we're going to have. For all I know, I could wake up tomorrow and get in a car crash, and my life could change forever. And I sincerely hope that's not the case. But if that did happen, I wouldn't want to say, man, I wish I spent more time doing the things that I loved. I don't really want to be chasing that money. I'd rather be chasing the creative freedom and the relationships and just like that inner peace over all of that. So if you feel like you are in the same boat, which I'm assuming that some of you watching this may feel that way, there are just a few things that I want to share with you and that maybe just would encourage you. So the first big thing that I want to share is I can't stop these controls. I just keep messing them up. The first thing that I want to share with you is to just kind of consider stopping worrying about finding the meta with money making. Quit worrying about all the prosperity YouTubers and what they say you need to do to get rich. Focus on what makes you happy. And if I'm being honest, like at the moment for me, that's just working my normal 9 to 5 and coming home and doing the creative things that I want to do and hanging out with the people that I want to hang out with. Because if you're anything like me and you listened to those people that I used to listen to a lot, they're telling you that you need to have, 50 side hustles and all these different jobs and new clients and start an agency and here are, 20 new side hustles you can do from home. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to make that type of living for yourself, but when that becomes your main focus, it can become an issue. My second point is that business isn't bad. Like I said earlier, I still fully plan on doing my own business and making that a priority for myself, but it's not going to be my only priority anymore. And I think that that's the key. But I really would just encourage you, especially if you are a creative-minded person, don't let that eclipse everything else. Don't let business be the thing and not have any creativity behind anything you're doing, because that's just a surefire way to burn out. And nobody feels good when they burn out. That's why they call it burning out. And I think the last big point that I want to get at is that money's going to come and go, but I genuinely believe that we need creative freedom and relationships and hobbies to survive. And maybe this is a unique opinion. I might be alone in this. You might be watching this and saying to yourself, I cannot get these controls. You might be watching this and saying to yourself, Zach, that's not me at all. I have plenty of time to do business and hobbies, and my business doesn't take away from my hobbies. And that's amazing. Like, genuinely, I'm not saying that facetiously. If that's you, that's incredible. And like, go for that. Like, that's fantastic. But honestly, I'd rather be living in a small house with fewer fancy things than having like a huge mansion to be sat in by myself. I think there's a reason why we see so many celebrities who apparently have all of the money and fame and, just lifestyle in the world, and they're still sad. And they're, I think that just goes to show you, and I'm not saying that they're having those issues because of a lack of creativity. But I think that it could be that part of their issue is that, they got everything. They got all the money. They got all the fame. I just think that that's not the answer. And don't get me wrong. I would love if, like this YouTube channel blew up and I was able to have this relatively large audience and, make money on YouTube. Like that'd be incredible. But I wouldn't want it to stop me from doing all of the creative things that I want to do and the creative things that kind of keep me afloat. And kind of just my last little note here is that the other big thing that I noticed when I started, also eat it, Goma, but I noticed that beyond just not making time for myself and for my creative needs and desires, I also wasn't learning any new creative things. Like when I was younger, I would learn a new instrument like every year basically, or I'd learn a new program like Photoshop or After Effects, or I would attempt to learn how to paint or draw. I'm not good at those types of arts at all. But by the time I started focusing on business, I stopped taking the time to do that because we only have a finite amount of time in the day, and it just didn't pan out that way. Again, maybe I'm alone in this. Maybe, this is a unique feeling to me, but I would just really try to encourage you that if you are a creative person who wants to start a business or has a business, that you take some time for yourself and, that you at least, I'm not saying to stop the business, but that you at least take the time to work for yourself. Because I think that's where the true fulfillment comes in. And I also am a firm believer that if you do have a business that's maybe rooted in creativity, or maybe it's not, and you allow yourself the time to have your creative freedom, you will do better in business. Or if it's school that you're focusing on, you will do better in school. Or whatever it is. I think that allowing yourself those creative freedoms is only going to improve those different parts of your life. The realization that I came to was that I didn't need to have a business rooted in creativity, or rather I didn't need to pursue those types of creative clients. If someone comes up to me and is asking me to film their wedding, like I'd be honored, but I don't need to be out there, scoping out all these different, the example that I used earlier was law firms. Like I don't need to be doing that. And truth be told, the time that I spend working on things like these YouTube videos is so much more fulfilling to me anyway, that I'd rather have that fulfillment and that peace than a couple extra bucks in my pocket. Anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I play some randomizer. I'm definitely going to play some more of this, maybe on or off camera. We'll see. But I really appreciate you guys. And if you like this type of video, please consider subscribing. That'd mean a lot to me. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's a Discord channel now. So, come on over. Come on and join that, because that's going to be a grand old time. There's a link for it in my bio, and there's also going to be a link to it in the description of this video. All right. Well, with that, I will catch you guys next week while I wait for this lazy bum to wake up. All right. Peace.